Hey everyone, this is Olay from Laddering Your Success, and you're listening to the LYS Podcast. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Welcome one, welcome all to another Sunday of LYS Free Student Mentoring. Here with my good friend Festus and Olay. Festus, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm energized. I'm active. I'm enjoying life. We had a really great, productive weekend for me, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think there's different levels of productivity, and sometimes relaxation is actually a form of being productive, I think. So I'm starting to learn that, man. Just trying to live in that and walk that out.
Yeah, man. I totally agree. I was watching this thing talking about how one of the best things you can do if you want to be on top of your game in whatever avenue you're in, right? Insurance, finance, basketball, architect, whatever, is the more you take care of your body, the better chance you have of being like the leader of what you're doing. And I was like, yeah, that's really good. So definitely makes a lot of sense. Also here with our good friend D Hill. Even when he's busy, he still takes the time to come and join us. How you doing this Sunday, D Hill?
Man, good, man. Just stretching.
Just stretching. The reason why he said he's stretching is because we are sore. We played football yesterday, trying to relive high school days in our almost 40-year-old bodies. And we are sore. I woke up this morning. It sounded like a bag of popcorn in the microwave right at around minute 45. You know what I mean? It sounded like a Street Fighter fight up in there, man. But we had fun. We had a good time, man. So definitely thankful for that. All right. With that being said, what would it say? No further ado. No further ado. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and jump right into our subject for today. But before that, let's talk about how you can connect with us and see more of our resources, see more of our content. On Instagram, LYS Students, _LYS if you want to get access, if you want to join us or follow us on Instagram. On Facebook, just type in Laddering Your Success in that search bar right up there on the top. You get access to this LYS free mentoring session and all of the other LYS free mentoring sessions that we have done throughout this year. Also, updates that we have for our apps, updates that we have for new meetings, sessions, workshops. If we're going to be out somewhere, it's going to be up there on Facebook. We do lives whenever we go out to places. I think we did one a couple of weeks ago when we went to the Black College Expo over there at the NRG.
100%. Yep.
NRG, was it Arena or Center?
I think that's Center.
The Center, NRG Center, right?
Yeah.
On YouTube, Laddering Your Success on YouTube, just like Facebook, type that into the search bar. So excited about the growth that we're going to be having here soon, putting up a lot of new content, being able to go live on YouTube. So just be on the lookout for that. On TikTok, LYSBNODO on TikTok, LYSBEKNOWDO on TikTok. If you would like to send us an email regarding us coming to your school, coming to your workshop, getting a workshop with us, if you have a question about any of our products, just send us a message on info@ladderingyoursuccess.com. That's our email address. And on Discord, for the young people, for the mentors, for the educators, admin, counselors, parents, Laddering Your Success is on Discord. So just once you get into Discord, just type in Laddering Your Success on Discord and you'll get access. It's just another wonderful way for you to be in contact with us, send messages, learn new things about the people who join with us, and help everyone continue on that ladder as we ladder our success. And if you love what we're doing, if you love our consistency, if you love the fact that we're here every Sunday, if you love the fact that we post things that make you think, that get you going, you can always donate to us on Cash App, $ Laddering Your Success. Once again, $ Laddering Your Success. And of course, one of the hallmarks of LYS is our lesson planning app, right? So save time with the LYS lesson plan app. Save time with the LYS lesson plan and assignments app. You can quickly create dynamic, rich, and engaging accommodated lessons and assignments for your students. This saves 10 to 30% time on lesson planning. Character building is added into every lesson, and complete standard aligned lessons are created by expert teachers. This has been a product of the heart that we've been working on for maybe like 5-6 years. We've been able to go around the country really and get awesome teachers who have created lesson plans that are aligned with our Be No Do process and the 7 tenets of laddering your success. For 6th to 8th grade teachers right now, we have all subjects except for math, correct, Festus?
Correct.
All lessons 6th to 8th grade except for math. It's coming soon though. And we're going to be able to, you'll be able to pull up those lessons and give them out to your students and just use those lesson plans. And it literally takes everything that we've put in LYS and it's put it in a lesson plan for you. This is really great for charter schools. This is really great for homeschooling. It's actually phenomenal for homeschooling. I know there is a big movement. We know there's a big movement to the homeschooling world out there for a lot of parents and families. And we have something that is transformative and life-changing for not just students, but for families, right? So let's go ahead and get into, well, before we get into that, I try to have a question here that I want to ask that we kind of go over. And the question that I had for today is, how do you show you listen to people? And I think the original question was, how do you listen? And I was like, that's cool, right? I mean, you can go the obvious. I listen with my ears, I listen with my eyes, right? Because in school, they always tell us to talk about active listening. And so I always have to tell the kids, listen with your eyes and your ears, which growing up in a Nigerian household makes a lot of sense because they like to mix like body parts and how you use them. I can
hear the smell.
Yeah, you already know. You already know.
Yeah,
how can you?
How can you hear the smell, man?
That's not his function, though, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about? But I just want to know how do you show you listen to people? What do you do to let people know you're listening? Anyway,
I think for me, man, I feel like I try to, because I've been on all the classes where you repeat or parrot back to them what they said. But I think one more level to that is actually telling them what you heard from what they said. You know what I mean? So if a person said, hey, I want to go out later, it's like, so you mean to tell me you want to go out later today, tomorrow? Like, what is later? You know what I mean? Like asking clarifying questions, I think is another one, right? Is kind of parroting back and then asking clarifying questions. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good, man. I like that, man. Actually staying focused. I like to look at people. You know what I'm saying? I don't like wandering off with the eyes and everything. Now people be like this. But when you're talking to them, I like to look them dead in the face and actually focus on them.
That's good. I probably look off a little bit too much nowadays. I used to like stare people down like yeah, like you listen to me, we're talking.
That's so true. Because I'm two things. I've got that ADD thing where like people start talking and they'll say one thing and then you'll be like, oh, Dolphins, I remember that time. I remember Flipper. And then while they're talking, the theme song, the Flipper's going on in your head. They call him Flipper, da, 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 da. And then the whole time they're talking about like a calendar or something. I'm just like, what? Why am I thinking about Flipper? But usually what I do is action. I always action. Like if I'm listening and someone says they like a particular type of thing, or they usually like to do this, man, and I really think it's God, because I'll do things subconsciously and they'll be like, dude, how did you know? And I'll be like, how did I know what? And it'll be like directly aligned with something that they may have told me at some point in time. But I do this thing where I put like little bookmarks in my mind and I'll just be like, oh, they like this, they like that. So, but yeah, usually actions, how we show those, is how I show those things. All right. Wonderful. So I've got pictures of gas, high gas, soaring gas prices. Gas, obviously, gas has been really high. And the reason why I have this here is because I do believe that this is because of teachers. Teachers are the reason for high gas prices. Actually, no, they are not. but I was reading an article that said we're so used to blaming teachers for everything. The person who wrote the article said, I would not be surprised if we did blame high gas prices on teachers somehow. So that's why today we're going to be talking about, why do we blame teachers for everything? Why are we so quick to put the blame on the teachers for so many of the issues? And I have to say, like right now, currently, right? And I would say like the last 20, 30 years, teachers usually do get the blame for a lot of things that happen with our students.
Do you want the real answer, or do you want the tamed answer?
Well, this is laddering
both.
your success, and
Savage.
When I think about our values and our mission, we tend to not run away from, curtailing the truth. We usually try to give the truth in a respectful manner, but we do try to give the truth. So I'm going to need savage mode right around.
100%. So I think this quote that you're sharing here is spot on. I think the thing is, teachers get the blame so that politicians, city leaders, different entities, people who write curriculum, that they can kind of do what Balenciaga did, right? Where Balenciaga went out and paid a marketing company to shoot pictures and images and create all this content regarding pedophilia, and then turned around and said, oh, it's their fault that it went out on our platform, even though we hired them, we paid them, we agreed with them, we said that they should do it, and now we blame them. And I think that's what's happened is, if you look at education as a whole, me, I'm kind of a little historian type thing. If you look at education as a whole, the quality of student outcomes has become less and less as more people have gotten involved in education, as more politicians, No Child Left Behind, all this other different kind of stuff. Hey, what's up, Franklin? Welcome. All this different kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden it's on the individual educator for everything, right? And then you look at what they're being asked to do as individual educators, or what you all are being asked to do, and it's terrifying that your job title is teacher, but then they want you to be nurse, counselor, mom, have a food pantry, and it's like come on, man, you know what I mean? And who else is responsible? Who else is responsible? And this is the thing, it's like I get trying to create checks and balances and putting some politics in it and things like that. But the thing is, I'll give you a prime example. I went to GNC the other day, and I was buying some supplements, and I gave the dude almost exact change, right? Except he was supposed to give me back $1, and he was like, I gave him the money and stuff, and he opened the register and was like, is this enough? And it's like, there are actual things on the register that tell you exactly how much to give me. And it's like the basics of following simple directions, but that kid graduated from somebody's high school. And to me, this is scary, because why do I say it's scary? Because when you look at the robots coming in, and the AI and the this and the that and the third, you see what I'm saying? What good is a human being who doesn't have the ability to reason, who doesn't have the tools to learn? Well, bro, you hear my passion. I'm sorry. Let me back up. But it's like, come on, man. Anyway.
I'm like DJ Khaled. Keep going.
Yeah, but God did. But anyway, we the best. Who? But anyway, I'm sorry, but no, I'm not. This is who I am. But no, the reality is, these kids are being put in poor positions because of leadership, and people wonder why the kids are becoming more and more disrespectful, more and more disgruntled. A lot of times is the kids just don't have any respect for what they're looking at. Unfortunately, now it's and I've talked about this before. It's gone from the millennials actually had, like, people, us as like we're the older top end of millennials, we actually had respect for institutions and for roles. even though we might not respect an individual. Like, for example, if a police officer told you to do something, you'd be like, okay, he's a police officer. That's his role. That's his job. All right, I'm going to respect that. Okay. And then you look, the Gen Zers, there's no longer respect for the institution of the roles, because people are seeing how BS the institutions are, because the institutions have now been created for their own survival, not for the thriving of the individual, right? And so the institution is like, look, I got to survive. So I got to stamp you and say you passed, even though you can't do basic math. Even though, I mean, literally you can graduate high school and not read. And somebody says, oh yeah, they graduated. And it's like, that is total BS. You did that kid a disservice. You did, I mean, and you can't throw, this is the thing about education. This is the funny thing about education, because again, and I'm gonna get off the soapbox because again, I'm frustrated and impassioned about this, but you cannot throw money at education. That's the thing that people don't understand. Unless you are putting more teachers in the classroom so that you have fewer student per teacher ratio, or adding tutors, or adding people who have the ability to teach the subject matter, you know what I'm saying? You can't throw money at education. You can't build enough buildings. You can't give out enough computers. Why? Because the thing is, there is intrinsic learning that takes place. What do I want to learn as an individual? And then there's the relationship. A computer cannot have a relationship with a person. But anyway, let me stop. Sorry about that.
No worries. Wonderfully said. You know what I'm so happy about right now? I'm so happy that our sessions get recorded and go live. Because I can't wait for the day that people come in and they start talking about these things. But like, yeah, you know, those guys, Lateral Years Success, they were talking about that like 3 years ago, like 5 years ago, like 10 years ago. They were talking about this stuff, man. D Hill, you got something you want to say? And before D Hill, you go, like Festus said earlier, Franklin, so happy you're able to join us again. I know you were trying to join like 2 weeks. Festus told me you were trying to join in, so we're so thankful to have you on. Hey LYS fam, it's Olay. Thanks so much for listening to LYS. I just wanted to take a quick moment to talk to the parents. That's right, mom and dad. Parents, prepare your child for their best educational fit after high school with our comprehensive LYS Parents Guidebook. Our helpful guide includes a range of activities designed to help you better understand your child's unique gifts and abilities. Additionally, we provide valuable insights into the student loan debt crisis and offer practical tips on how to avoid accumulating large amounts of debt. Our ebook also includes a wealth of information on scholarships, grants, and payment exemptions that can help guide your child towards a bright and successful future. With our expert guidance, you can rest assured that your child is well prepared to make informed decisions about their education and career path. Don't let your child's future be in jeopardy. Invest in their future today by downloading the LYS Parents Guidebook. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to the show, because you know it's some good topics. Have you back on with us, brother. So yeah, good seeing you. D Hill, you got anything you want to say on that?
Well, first of all, amen. Festus went in, okay?
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A passatizing offering. Thank you. But man, that's what he said, man. You can't build enough buildings, man. That's it right there. They think, even though we got these laptops and stuff, you know, all the schools got it, it's not gonna do nothing if the kid don't want to. If the kid don't want to focus, the people ain't actually focus on what the real problem and need is. Just throwing extra work at them and more stuff ain't gonna build it. And when the robots come in, that's when it's really gonna hit these parents hard. Because if it gets to a point where that woman said, I think you sent it to me, where that woman said it's gonna be one big building with one teacher watching over all of them, whoever can do the work will succeed. The ones who can't will be left behind, bro. They just gonna be. And here's the thing: there's gonna be no excuse then. That's gonna be the problem for them, because it's gonna be like, your child got exactly everything. So now the only problem is your child. That's it. It's you and your child. So it needs to be somebody else that needs to be held accountable. Like, I'm the teacher. I'm not the parent. I'm not everything, bro. I ain't Jesus, okay?
Ooh, you know, Talib Kweli has a wonderful verse in his song. Shout out to Festus, first of all, for putting me on Talib Kweli. On his album, gosh, I can't remember the name of the album, but it was After the Beautiful Struggle. Eardrum. there's a single called "You're Everything Man," and he said, "I can't be everything to everyone at the same time. I can't be everything to everyone at the same time." And that's kind of like what it is for being a teacher. You're everything for every one of your students all at the same time. And you just got to take all those things in. I don't know why when y'all was talking about that, it just reminded me of that. But I took some notes as you guys were talking. And I saw this video on the evolution of Boston robotics. I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with Boston robotics. And I don't know what kind of robots they're doing, but the robots scare me. It was like 2010 and they had these robots with wires. And then if you fast forward to like a year ago, their robots are basically, you can push them over, they'll come back up. They're running full obstacle courses. They're dancing, they're doing everything, man. And then the last video was like two of the robots dancing, and then that little dog looking robot just running past them. I'm like, yo, what is going on right now? Like, these robots are too legit to quit, bro. Like, so y'all talk about it, like, this stuff is real. This is very, like, it's definitely a very real, it's coming.
But the interesting thing is, and about this, is how they're not even telling teachers about this to talk to students about it. And to me, that's a very, very significant thing, because the same politicians who are investing in these things, who are saying tax dollars should go to the Teslas and the Elon and the Bostons and the you know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not knocking them for their hustle in terms of being innovative and things like that. I'm not knocking that, right? Because I think that there are certain use cases in which these things are very, very beneficial, right? But at the same time, right, my thing is, how can you invest in that you know is going to take somebody's job, right? But then not go and tell the teachers, like, hey, you need to tell these students, like, it's time to wake up. Because the thing is, talking about these robots, like, y'all heard of Flippy, right? So there's a robot called Flippy that flips the burgers at the hamburger places.
Yes.
And so the thing is, as a restaurant owner, I could go get Flippy for 30 grand. Flippy gonna work 24/7 pretty much for me. And not complain, not show up late, not pants sagging, not, not disrespectful, right? And so the thing is, literally, it's going to get to a point where, and I mean, they've already had some places like this. The person who is in the restaurant is really only there as more like a management type person. Like, they're just going to float around, make sure the machines are working, stuff like that. Hey, no, this is how you put your order in on the screen. You know what I'm saying? And then that's it. Everything else is going to be done robotic. And oh man, I got a burger from, I think it was Jack in the Box recently, which I typically don't really eat at those places, and it was just an awful burger. I was like, man, I don't even think this is real meat no more. You know what I'm saying? Like at all. The meat content is so low. It's like, it doesn't taste like beef at all. And Jack in the Box, you got decent burgers, back in the 90s. But long story short, I think as educators, they should be educated on these things that are happening in the future to talk to their students about them. Because the students, I mean, you got students now, they're so into Instagram and barely even know how to use Instagram. And I'm like, and this is the thing, I know it's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? If you knew how to use Instagram well, at least you could say, let me go be an influencer's Instagram manager. There's something that you could do that's productive and creative based off of that skill set. But now it's like, I don't know anything or how to do anything. And again, we put the blame on the teachers, and everybody else gets to walk away. Politicians get to walk away, right? And this is the sad part. They actually get to make things worse before they walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going and saying, hey, now let's put George Bush on trial for No Child Left Behind. Nobody's doing that, right? Everybody's just being like, oh yeah, these teachers keep messing it up. Anyway, I'm done with my soapbox. My bad.
Bro,
go ahead, Olay.
Sorry,
bro, my bad. I'm about to jump in with him for a second, bro.
Ooh.
Cause what you said was like nobody's telling them, hey, that is facts, bro. Well, I be telling the kids, but that is fact, man. They just be in there just doing all this stuff. Like, no, I'll tell you what you said. They use Instagram. Like, people think these kids know a lot about technology, but they really don't, bro. They really don't know anything. Like, all they know is, okay, it's like people think just because their child can grab their phone and use the Instagram and watch videos, they think he just so great at it. Dude, all he knows how to press that button, bro.
Yeah.
That's all I know. They don't know how to do anything else, bro. I gotta show these kids sometimes on the laptop how to use it. I said, so you got this expensive laptop and you don't know how to use it, bro. What you said, that's it right there. Always on Instagram, I don't know how to use it.
Beautiful. We're gonna have to. I think we should after this is done. We gotta post this one on YouTube, man. This one here, this one's good, really good. This when it was, I was always thinking about the movie WALL-E. I'm not sure if y'all seen the movie WALL-E. You know, my partner teacher had been telling me to watch it for some time, and I finally watched it with the class, and it just reminded me so much of like where we're going. Two movies, really, WALL-E and a movie. One of my favorite movies, actually, is a movie called Idiocracy. I think Festus, you still have. Do you have Idiocracy?
No, I don't have it, but I've watched it. And did we watch it together or something?
We may have.
I think we watched part of it together or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so a couple more notes here. That was powerful. Also, what you said about institutions protecting themselves and not benefiting society by influencing society in a beneficial way. And so my note here was, that is why I credit you, Festus, so much for coming back to A-Leaf. And this is going to sound weird, but I'll break it down a little bit. A-Leaf, you coming back to A-Leaf is like Nigeria or expats who leave a third world country and come to a first world country, right? If you ask a lot of our friends that graduated with us from A-Leaf, you know, a lot of them, and you ask them to come back and move into A-Leaf, they would say, I ain't come back to A-Leaf. For what?
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like that same mentality. But, you know, Festus from early on said, you know, I want to come back and give back to my community. And when you think about what you've done, you started a business. You started businesses in A-Leaf. Your children go to these schools. You're involved in the culture. You're involved in the community. And you're doing things to help that community grow, right? And I think especially in this we want it now society, it's very hard for us to see that vision, right? When you think about 10, 20 years ago, the Heights was not what the Heights is today.
Yeah.
The Heights was an extension of Spring Branch. And when I was living in Spring Branch, it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Right? It was Whitty, Brompton Square, the Blue Lagoon, that little weird looking place. I didn't know it was a bar, washaterias everywhere, you know, corner places, stores that had writing. I knew it wasn't Chinese, but it looked like Chinese. It was really Korean, right? That was the Spring Branch I knew. It's not this wonderful place, but someone had a vision, and over time, that vision was, you know, it was established. It came to fruition, right? And so I think that it's very easy, especially when we have we're raised in a poor mindset, because we always talk about this. We think generational wealth is tangible. We think generational wealth are things that we can touch. Generational wealth is also things that are inside of your mind. It's a blueprint, right? And if you follow the blueprint, there's a higher than likely chance that you will be, you know, on a certain path towards success. So, you know, I give you a lot of credit for that. And it's one of those things we have to think about. And don't think it doesn't have anything to do with this. It has so much to do with this, because if you're building that sense of community, the three main partnerships or stakeholders, I don't like to use the word stakeholders, but stakeholders that we think about here in LYS are our students, our parents, and our educators. Those are the three right there. Okay. And so that's really, really impactful when you think about how it all kind of comes together. So let me read this quote here real quick. The impulse to blame teachers, whether for their supposed poor general quality, lack of training, laziness, greediness, and on, has a lengthy history, even back to Horace Mann's early attempts to establish public school in the 19th century. Nearly always, though, teachers are blamed for society's ills as a way to deflect blame from elsewhere, usually from the person doing the blaming. It's easy to score political points using teachers as scapegoats, especially when they are isolated in classrooms or often banned from organizing. Teacher blaming is easier to do than fully funding our schools and other social infrastructure anyway. And I think I put the website there on the bottom. I'm not sure if we can see it, but I put it there on the bottom. This was a Virginia Tech article by one of their professors where a doctor, I'm going to butcher her name, Maslowitz, she wrote a book about teacher blaming, and essentially that's where it came from. And I thought it was really, really powerful. And so, sorry, go ahead.
If I can, bro, let me just jump back real quick. For those who, I know I said you don't need more buildings and stuff like that. I understand that there are buildings that are decrepit, that aren't up to date. That's not what I'm talking about, right? In regard to education and education spending. I understand that there's also, how do I put this? There is pressure to maintain a school building while you develop and build another school building because it's so decrepit. I get situations like that, right? But what I'm saying is where we overemphasize infrastructure that is not as helpful to the individual students. And what I mean by that is there are building projects and there are programs that are not helpful to students, right? It's you know, and I love football, but you get these multi-million-dollar football stadiums that each school owns one. And then how much does that cost to build and maintain? Same thing, basketball stadiums and this and that and the third. And it's like, no, we have to have our own. No, we can't go play down the street. We have to have our own team, right? And so I say that to say, to also tag on that, as I know some teachers are hearing this, parents are hearing this, there are schools you can find that don't have all the fluff, that are great at education where you could get the degree and go on. And there are some schools that they have the fluff, but they have it appropriately, right? And so I forever remember this, Pensacola Christian College. We took our youth there for a camp. And, you know, the campus, it was a great campus. And then I noticed, like, I didn't see anybody who worked on the lawns. And I was looking around and I was like, okay, these people who you typically see in schools, like, they're not there. And then I asked a person who was there, I said, hey, how come there's no, you know, where's the maintenance and, you know, infrastructure? People say, oh, the students do everything. The students cook the food. The students they cut the grass. The students, I was like, yo, where are your trash cans at? They were like, oh, we typically don't keep a lot of trash cans. We keep them smaller so we can emphasize recycling and anything else that a person needs to get rid of.
Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay once again. You know, these days, many families are busy, but want personalized attention. We at Laddering Your Success understand this dilemma and have created a unique approach to help guide you and your child with personal development tools to build a life of purpose. This intimate approach is helpful for those parents that feel the need to have a focused heart-to-heart conversation deciding on the next steps after high school. We provide individual post-secondary planning, virtual customized college and career counseling, and scholarship guidance and planning. Our one-on-one sessions are tailored to each individual student to maximize their potential in the post-secondary realm. With our guidance, your child will be able to make their dreams a reality. Don't wait. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to business on this podcast.
We could donate to overseas countries that don't have what they have. So there's schools out there, right, that understand this. Now don't get me wrong. They had a building, and this building was like their fun building. In that building, they had a huge rock wall. They had an indoor water park. They had an ice skating rink. They had a bowling alley. They had a roller rink. They had an arcade in one building. It was like this building. You go in there and it's just like Candyland. Like, it's just the most pleasurable experiences ever. And I'm like, wow, look at all of this fun stuff. And it's like they didn't take away from the time spent in worship, the time spent in education and different types of things like that. And guess what? The tuition at the time was about $3,000, $4,000 a year, pretty much a community college tuition. So I'll end there. Go ahead and get back on, LA.
I think that's phenomenal, man. Just to know that there are places like that actually, you know what I'm saying? That wow. That actually take the time to create that environment. Oh gosh. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Okay. So all right, let's take a look. And so, well, let me go back real quick. What I've done is these areas that I've highlighted here, we're going to I've used those to create questions that we're going to go into a little bit deeper here. Okay. So the first one is, why do we see teachers as professionals who have poor quality, who have lack of training, who are lazy, who are greedy? How has this narrative been painted? Who has painted this narrative? How has this narrative been created? Where's the proof? Where do these things come from? Yeah. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, I definitely think, man, I know this is going to sound like a very bad analogy, but the same way that Black people post-slavery were blamed for their quote unquote ill behavior, right? It's so similar. I hate to say it, but it's so similar in terms of, yes, educators are educated to go out and do the educating, and they need their tools to do the educating as well. But the thing is, it literally comes down to nature versus nurture. If you got kids who are coming in and they don't have everything that they need, right? A teacher can't just impart everything to them like it's pixie dust. And so because of that, what ends up happening is they say, oh, look, it's the teacher's fault. Well, where did the kid come in at? And so this is the thing, that even some of these standardized testings, they're awful about getting. A kid could come in 3, 4, 5 years behind grade level, and a good teacher could bump them up 2 years in their grade level. But because the kid didn't reach the standard, they say, oh, look, you failed as a teacher. And so to me, it's kind of a bad, any way you look at it, it's a bad analogy like that. You know what I mean?
Totally agree. I totally agree. And I think I'm going to piggyback off of what you said. And I'm going to say that one thing we do is we take 1 or 2 bad experiences and we now use that as the baseline to determine the the majority of a particular brand or group, right? So let's say you go through a particular situation and, you had a teacher who just, did not seem like they're a professional, really rude, disrespectful, whatever it is. And now we say, yeah, man, I had this teacher that did this and, all teachers did this. And then you talk to the person next to you and you're like, yes, a teacher, who did this too. And so just because there's 5 or 6 of you and you say, yeah, we had this one person, this one teacher who did this. Hey, LYS fam, it's Olay. Just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that even though the cost of college can be daunting, the LYS Scholarship Guide ebook can assist you in realizing your dreams. You can identify and apply for scholarships using the information, advice, and resources in our comprehensive guide. Also, we've provided a template for a successful scholarship essay to help you stand out from the crowd. Don't allow student loan debt to control you. Get your copy of the LYS Scholarship Guide ebook right away to take charge of your destiny. Simply go to lys.com/parents to get your copy today. Now let's get back to that fire conversation. Now all the teachers are not professional. Now they all they're not quality, right? The lack of training, I don't know where that comes from. Even when I became an ACP, everything I did not get a degree in education. I got a degree in finance. I worked in accounting for years, and then I did an ACP program and I became a teacher. Everything I learned in my ACP prepared me for my first year of teaching. I will say, as of right now, there may be a lack of training for teachers because there's a shortage and we don't have a lot of prepared teachers. So in that regard, yeah, I would say, definitely there's a lack of training. But before, I felt like if you became a teacher, you were adequately trained to be able to deal with the stresses and with the rigor of teaching. I do not believe that the average teacher is lazy. I definitely do not believe the average teacher, ain't no teacher coming in being greedy. And this is all based off of the article that, that I quoted this from. If you're not sure,
And my thing is, how can a teacher be greedy? Like, what did they? I want more books for my class than you have for your class. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, don't get me started on that again.
No,
Continue, please, bro.
Absolutely. The innate teacher of a teacher is selflessness. So they're really not even thinking about themselves. So much so that teachers actually have poor health. So if they're lazy, it's probably because they're stressed out from trying to figure out how to, help a child who, like Festus mentioned earlier, is 2 or 3 grades behind. And they want to do everything they can to help that child go further because because that child is 2 or 3 grades behind. That child usually does not have a zeal for learning, right? And so now you have to motivate the child, and then you have to bring the kid up. So that's one, right? And I don't even know what the average ratio is right now. Just to be safe, let's just say the average teacher to student ratio in a classroom is 1 to 17. Let's just say that. So you've got one kid like that, right? That's just an example. You may, in an average class in a LEP, lower income, I can't remember the full term is, but in a lower income area, you'll probably have a third or a fourth of your students who are at least 2 or 3 grades behind, right? So now you got to deal with all of that. So this whole concept of laziness, I really don't believe in it. I still till today think that we take a small group, a very small sliver of the pie graph, and we use that to blame everyone or everything. And so I do see that that's just definitely one of those things where it's like, I need to see the data. What does the data say? Because I just don't see it. I really don't see it. I think about myself. I think about the teachers that I'm close with. I think about teachers that I see every day who are total professionals, who are quality teachers and people who put themselves in situations to make sure that they know what they're teaching before they teach it, who are tired. They're tired, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, but that's not laziness. And they're definitely not greedy. I think I think the way we look at teachers, the narrative is, if a teacher is saying, oh, we need to be paid more, the natural reaction is, y'all want to be paid more? Y'all get these weekends off, y'all get holidays off, y'all, what do y'all need to get paid for? Y'all not even good teachers. These kids are dumb, right? But once again, I can't be everything to everyone at the same time, right? So I think that's actually a good place for us to stop. This is really good. We got plenty of slides. This may be a 2 or 3 week subject thing that we go over. So I want to give some time for Franklin. I want to get a little recap, see how Franklin's been doing, and see what more we can do to help Franklin as he's laddering on the journey to laddering your success. Franklin, my man, how you doing today?
I'm all right. Glad to be back with you guys again.
Oh, for sure, brother. For sure, brother. Absolutely, man. I'm so blessed, so thankful to have you back on, man. So last time we talked, I know we talked about PT school. I know it's kind of in flux because of situations at the school, but we kind of talked about some things that you can do as far as like finding mentors, right? People who do physical therapy or people who teach physical therapy at the school and how to get in contact with them. We also talked about your love or your passion for graphic design and how you can merge graphic design with, how you could use graphic design to help you get some funds, some extra money while you're pursuing physical therapy, and also using graphic designing to create maybe like infographics or things that you could use to help people with physical therapy. Festus also mentioned something, a really awesome idea, which is like just getting your hands dirty and just going around your area and just finding people who could use your services, right? Who could use your services, and just finding ways to help them. So what have you noticed any of those things? Have you tried to work on any of those things? What have you noticed from that?
Yeah, after that last webinar we had, it's actually enlightened me a bit, and I went out of my comfort zone to do exactly those things you guys told me to do, and I was so excited because I got a big positive result, more positive result about it, because I didn't actually know that my university has a volunteer center where students can come and register and volunteer, you know. So right now I'm a registered volunteer in my university, and it's called a youth-friendly resource center in my university. So I've actually registered there, and they were excited to have me. And again, there's a military hospital in my state. So they're always in need of volunteers. So, but for the past 3 weeks, 2 weeks now, I've been writing an exam, and it didn't actually give me the chance to do much. So, based on volunteer aspect, I can tell you that I've got it sorted out, and I think anything from next week, anything next year, let me be honest, anything next year, I'll get it on fire, and I'm glad I've sorted that one out.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you
I
so much.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's the thing that is encouraging to us is, a lot of people try to, some people blame teachers, some people blame students. And to me, I love when a student takes the advice that they're given and implements it quickly and effectively, because again, it's one of those things where it doesn't just benefit you, it benefits your entire community. And I love hearing how you're gonna end up, don't go into the military. I ain't telling you don't join, but the fact that you can help serve people who are serving your country, I think that is very, very powerful. And again, just leveraging and using those resources at the school and becoming aware of those resources at the school. Again, I think that's very powerful. And I think these things are going to help to, as we call it, ladder your success, build those relationships, tell you who to spend time with, how much time to spend with them. So I'm excited for you, man. I'm glad to hear it.
All right, thank you so much. And then the second one is about talking to PTs, physical therapists here, maybe online or offline.
Yeah, your voice is kind of
There's
going out.
quite okay.
Much
I
better.
mean, there are some physical therapists that's online, and I try messaging them, and the ones that send me a response, they were quite encouraging. Well, they didn't actually needed my graphic service. All they said is that I should keep on working hard, and then try and set up my own page on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, and then keep educating people about physical therapy. So they didn't actually needed my service. So they were just more of encouraging. I took it from them. Was quite good, I guess. So I just messaged some. So I got like two responses, one from Facebook and then one from LinkedIn, because after last time I wasn't very active on LinkedIn. Before the last time I wasn't very active on LinkedIn. So after that, then I just started going on LinkedIn, seeing some pages, seeing some physical therapists, what they've been doing, and was well educating as well. So another thing is, I think that's all I've done so far. I've also continued to, use my, after that last time, I've started to use my Facebook wall to educate people. Like a few days ago was World HIV and AIDS Day, so I try to put some contents on my Facebook and some other. I will still continue in Twitter and some other social media platforms. So I think that's the message the lesson I try to put into action. Yeah, that is me so far, and I remain so grateful to you guys for the encouragement so far.
No, absolutely, Franklin. So like Festus said, so happy to hear about that. As you were talking, I was taking notes. I like taking notes when people talk. I wanted to tell you that that was powerful. You even said it yourself when you said I had to go out of my comfort zone, right? You said you had to go out of your comfort zone. And that's a beautiful thing about your comfort zone. I think that we feel like our comfort zone is like this, right? It's this, and you're in the middle, which is true. For a lot of us, it is like this. But the more you do things outside of your comfort zone, the bigger your comfort zone gets, right? Like the bigger that zone gets. And one of the things I've noticed is when you do that, you tend to find new skills and talents that you didn't have before. Because usually going out of your comfort zone means something, going and doing something that you've never done or something you're not used to doing. And so when you do that, you'll notice that, oh, this is actually not, number one, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And number two, I'm actually really good at this new thing that I'm doing. Right. And so, I think me and Festus kind of talk about this. It's a new tool that goes in your toolbox. It's a new tool that goes in your toolbox that you can use to help you grow when you meet different people. This is really big. It's one of the things that Festus talks about in Laddering Your Success in the book, in the social chapter, where he talks about your family, your close social network, your transitional social network, your, what is it? It's like personal, transitional, work. Go ahead, Festus.
Cooperative.
Cooperative, right? All those different social networks. There's some skills that are like you're going to need for all of those, but there's some unique ones that you'll need in some of those other circles, right? You're talking about having to email or send messages on LinkedIn and Facebook to other physical therapists, which is something I'm assuming you haven't done before, right? So just continuing with that, understanding what messages really get them. And that would be another thing to look into. How do you word these messages? Because me and Festus always has these things that he sends to me. Like whenever we send messages out to people, we need to make sure that we word them in a particular type of way so we can get a particular type of response to get what we're looking for, right? And so that's something that you can look for now, right? And so that may be a new skill for you. It's like, oh, I know how to word these emails. Well, I can see it now. Frank can just be like, I know how to get these things from these folks, man. Go ahead, Fez. Are you gonna say something?
Yeah. I mean, again, just so encouraged from even this last part that he just filled us in on. It's like if you keep this up, there's a book, I forgot who wrote the book, but they said that in order for somebody to be an expert in their field, they have to get 10,000 hours in that area. But if you keep this up and you keep it up consistently, because you're not only studying it academically, you're implementing it practically before you even get started. So I could easily see in 4 years time, 5 years time, you opening up a private practice, you helping to lead and manage other and mentor other students to be able to impact the community for people who might not be able to afford, physical therapy services. So there's so many things I could just see coming out of it if you just continue in that path and just keep stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Keep doing it. As a matter of fact, we're going to probably say, hey, Franklin, come help us with some stuff. Help us reach more students is the biggest thing that we're going to need your help with, right? Is just getting more people involved, because if we're not being the leaders who are changing the environment, then who is, right? And if somebody else has to come in from outside of our environment to change our environment for us, that's going to make them our masters, right? And we've seen enough of this in history that we don't need that junk anymore, right? So again, I salute you for doing what you can do with what you got until you could get to do what you want to do, right? Absolutely. So I salute you for that.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. You mean I should reach out to more students to come on board and follow the. All right. Thank you. I'll do that for next time. I'll put it out on my WhatsApp and then Facebook. I believe many students, most of my friends would like to be part of this.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful. I think with that being said, Festus, is a great time to close out and kind of go over how to get in contact with us again, if that's okay.
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you.
All righty. Let's go back here. All right, folks, as always, if you are on Instagram, LYS Students, and BNoDo_LYS if you want to get in contact with us on Instagram. On Facebook, Laddering Your Success. If you're on Facebook, great way to get in contact with us. We post these LYS free student mentoring sessions on there. Everyone, it's going to be on Facebook. On YouTube, right there in the search bar, just type in Laddering Your Success. Get access to more of our content on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe on all of these, so whenever we do post something new, you can get access to it. LYS BNoDo is how to find us on TikTok. If you want to contact us for a workshop, if you want to contact us to come and talk to your youths at a youth group, at a church, at a school, if you're interested in our LYS lesson planning app, any of our print materials or our ebooks, info@ladderingyoursuccess.com. And of course, on Discord, Laddering Your Success, just put that in the search bar. You'll be able to join that channel there. And if you love what we're doing, if you love the mission, if you love the vision, if you love Laddering Your Success, $ Laddering Your Success on Cash App. And of course, don't forget, save time with the LYS lesson plan and assignments app. Quickly create dynamic, rich, and engaging accommodated lessons and assignments for your students. Save 10 to 30% of the time on lesson planning, character building into every lesson, and it comes with a complete standard aligned lessons created by expert teachers, right? And you have a chance to try it out for free. All right, folks, for Festus, Franklin, D. Hill that was here earlier, my name is Olay Sharanki. Thank you so much for being with us. Remember, as always, there are legitimate reasons to not going to college, but there are no legitimate reasons to not getting an education. Don't forget that, folks, as you continue on the journey, laddering your success. You have a blessed weekend. Oh, you still there? Well, thank you so much for listening to the LYS podcast.